welcome to Connor's Hair Salon. So today we're going to be using some rollers, a wooden bristle brush with two different types of bristles, a paddle brush to style this lovely lady for cunnilingus. I'm going to start off with a nice little head massage and some kisses, because everyone deserves kisses, even polystyrene mannequin heads, and I didn't forget about you. Here's your kisses. So I'm going to start off by taking the wooden brush and the pointy end and just section off the hair the same thickness section as the roller and brushing it back so that it's out of the way and we can work on the rest of the hair. Just twisting it around a little bit so it all stays together in the section, and I'm just brushing down the side of the hair, making sure that the pattern's straight, brushing down the side to get that out of the way as well. Just securing that with a little clip, and she does have quite an unfortunate fringe that we're going to have to try and blend into the rest of the hair while we style it, so that's annoying. The fringe did start off as baby hairs that you would glue to your forehead, but I decided to cut a bit more hair and turned into a fringe, and now I regret it. And this is what she looks like, all sectioned off, ready for the rollers. So I'm just coming back to this top section now, and I'm just taking a smaller cross section at the front, separating that off, making it a little bit thicker. Last time I styled this wig, I put sections in there that were a bit too small, and it was the first time I'd ever styled a wig, so I didn't really know what I was doing. But now that I sort of know what I'm doing, I'm just coming back to restyle it. So I'm just going to take this section, pull it forward towards me, and then put the roller, so put the hair around the roller about halfway down the length of the hair, wrap the end around, and then roll it towards the head. And I'm going to be securing the roller in place with some bobby pins or hairpins or whatever you call them. So I'm just going to put one in either side where the root is. I should have thought out my camera angles a bit better before I started doing this. But anyways, here's a bit of a closer angle. So I'm just putting the other pin in the other side, just twisting the roller like away from, how would you say that? Twisting it back, just to make sure it's nice and tight. And I'm going to take another couple of bobby pins just to secure that fringe down. As you can probably tell, guys, this is a homemade wig stand. I probably should have got a professional wig styling block, but I just couldn't justify buying one if I could make one myself for a lot cheaper. This is just a polystyrene head that I got for £4 from a wig shop, and I already had the tripod, so I just made it myself. Just sliding the pin further up just to get right to the end of the fringe part so that it doesn't stick out when it's all set. And this is what the first roller looks like, and the process is a bit repetitive, just putting rollers in, so I'm not going to be talking all the way through. I'm going to let you guys enjoy the sounds of the hair brushing and stuff. If you prefer this video without the voiceover, let me know and I can comments down below. So this wig is the first wig that I've owned. It started off as like a wavy, frizzy wig, and I brought it home and straightened it, and it went really dry, and then I styled it with rollers and stuff like I'm doing to it now, and just like shoved them in there, and I put way too much hairspray in because I hadn't washed it. I'd been wearing it for rehearsing and stuff, just like flicking it around on my head, sweating in it and everything, and because of that it was like a bit greasy, and the curls weren't staying in very well, so I put like 2 full tins of hairspray on there. So whenever I wore it, I was just like eating hairspray. So I thought I better wash it and redo it. So last night I soaked it in laundry detergent, and then because it was dry, I soaked it in some fabric softener for a couple of hours. So she feels nice and silky and smooth now. And that's the second roller in and secured, and this is what it looks like. And I did have an itchy foot that I thought I'd leave in there because I was getting tingles while I was itching it, so I thought you might too. So here we have all of the rollers in. I didn't follow any specific pattern or anything, I just made sure that they all went back in the same direction and that they were evenly spread and symmetrical on both sides, just to make sure that it has even volume when it's styled. So let's move on to the next step, which is to set the wig. And it's not just as simple as leaving the rollers in overnight or whatever, because it is a synthetic wig. It doesn't act the same as real hair, so it has to be steamed, and because I don't have a steamer, I'm just using my curls. So I'm just putting a shopping bag over the top and making sure that the steam from the curl can go inside the bag. I've seen people do this with a pan of boiling water or an actual steamer, which is quite cheap to pick up. I think it'd be like £20 or whatever, but I think it's just easier to do with the kettle. So now we wait, and while we're waiting for the kettle to boil, I thought I'd show you my new croc things. I got these from Primark. I went in for some sliders because I always wear sliders around the house, and mine broke, so I saw these for £4 in Primark, and I'm always hearing people talking about how comfortable Crocs are, so I thought I would get a pair to try out just to wear in the house. And I swore that I would never wear them outside the house, not even to go down to the front door of my apartment block to collect a takeaway or whatever, but I absolutely love them. I never have them off my feet now, and I even went down and collected a McDonald's that I Uber Eats the other day in them, so I recommend. I feel like this is probably not the safest thing to be doing. I'm just holding the button down every time it stops boiling to make it boil again, and steam started coming out of the hole where the button was, so I don't recommend doing this. Don't scald yourself, but I'm just making sure that as much steam gets in the bag as possible. Just heat up the hair, steam it, and set it in place. So I'm just going to leave the steam in the bag to do its thing for a couple of hours, and then once it's cooled down, take the bag off and leave it to air dry on its own overnight before I take the rollers out tomorrow. So now it's the next day, and it's time to take out the rollers and see if the steaming process has worked. This is my, I think, 4th time styling a wig now, and every time I've done this, I always get nervous to take the rollers out in case it's just still straight. But this one turned out pretty nice and bouncy. So now I'm going to take the wooden brush, which is actually a backcombing brush, and use it to just backcomb from about a quarter of the way down the length of the hair and brush it up towards the roots, just to add a bit of extra volume and spread out that section of the hair. And then using it to go down the rest of the length of the hair and just separate it out a little bit to make it a bit fluffier. And I'm using the hairspray really lightly, just doing little sprays. Because, like I said last time I styled this, I put too much on because it was a bit greasy and the hairspray wasn't working, so there was so much hairspray in there and it's all I could smell and taste when I was wearing it. But with other wigs that I've done, if they've been freshly washed, then the hairspray works really well, and that's the first section done. I am using the Got To Be Glued hairspray, if you're wondering, guys. If you couldn't tell from the yellow tin, it's my go-to hairspray. I've used it on my own hair for years and it works really well with synthetic hair as well. I think out of all the things that you have to do drag, like makeup, performing and hair and outfits and stuff, I think after performance the thing I love to do the most, but I think out of like hair, makeup and outfits and stuff, the hair is the thing that I enjoy doing the most, because I used to have a mannequin head when I was a kid and I used to put it in different styles and stuff, and usually I'm not good with fiddly things like putting the rollers in and stuff, but I do find it really satisfying to take them out and coif the hair and stuff and see the finished results. Whereas with the makeup, if you do like one step wrong, like an early step, and then you finish the makeup and it starts to, like gluing the eyebrows down for example, if they start to pop up when you finish the makeup, then there's not a lot you can do to fix it, so you have to just start again. Whereas with the hair, if you make a little mistake, you can just fix it quite easily. So I do enjoy the finished result of doing the makeup, but it's just a bit more stressful than doing the hair. So as you can see, guys, the further up the wig I get, the more I'm backcombing it just sort of falls over the previous section nicer. And when it comes to the parts at the front, I'm just backcombing it from one side and then making sure it's nice and smooth on the side that you're going to see. nice and curly and bouncy. So this is what it looks like from the top. And now it's time to move on to the big quiff at the front. So I did take a little bit of one of the side sections to add to the quiff as well. And these rollers, the orange ones, are a bit bigger than the purple ones, because the quiff at the front doesn't need to be as curly as the rest of the hair. So because this part's going to have the most volume, it's going to stand basically straight up and then fall over to the side to give it like a side quiff. It needs to be backcombed, not just at the root, but almost all the way to the end, just so that it stays rigid all the way through the length of the hair. And as you can see, I'm really pushing that brush down just to get that backcombing in there nice and tight. And then doing a few upward strokes at the front, just because you'll see that more than the back, so it needs to look smooth. So I'm just using a little bit of hairspray now, just to spray that fringe and brush it upwards to try and make it blend in with the rest of the hair a little bit. So now I'm just taking the current section and the section next to it to try and backcomb them and blend them together. I'm sorry about the nudity. I was wearing my comfy boxers and I didn't think that I'd be getting this angle. But I wanted to leave this part in the video so you could see the whole process. And trust me, this lady and the other blonde lady behind her have seen a lot of stuff in my apartment. My OnlyFans subscribers know what I mean. This little section here doesn't need to be as backcombed as the rest of it because the quiff is gonna lie on top of it, so that's gonna give this side of the wig enough volume, but it does need to be smoothed on without a brush stuck in it. As you can see, I'm really pushing the brush down just to make it nice and tight so that it stays in there and doesn't lose volume over time. Now I'm just taking all of the top sections, smoothing them out and trying to blend them together. Now that all the backcombing is done and all the volume that we need has been added, it's just a case of finessing it, making it look smooth and making it look nice and finishing it off. So this is the finished style. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you'd like to see any more wig styling videos, because I've got a couple more that I need to style soon. You can find Connielingus on Instagram, and she'll be posting YouTube videos soon. Her channel and Instagram will be in the description along with all of my stuff. See you in the next video, guys.